Hello VooTube, here I am, 32 degrees of heat this Wednesday evening. Oh dearie me, it's positively sweltering. Do you know it's hotter where I am in Sussex than it is in Jamaica? Would you believe it? No. Well, there we go. I've got something for a Wednesday evening. I thought we need this in our life. We do, VooTube. So I thought we'd have a look at this because I like to know what's going on. Because there's a lot of stuff going on, you know, and I'm not having it. I need to know what's happening with your Meghan Markle. I do. She's coming back with her pig. She is. She's going to be on InstaTwat or something or other. So let's have a listen. This is before, well, it's before she decided to re-emerge and cocoon-like rebirth herself onto social media. We're so lucky, aren't we, VooTube? I mean, I don't know about you, but I can't wait. I'm only just about coming to terms with the fact that she's not going to do a speech next week for 2 viewers. I'm absolutely gutted. I had high hopes for that content. I did. Oh, naughty Gertie. Come on, dear.
Hopefully one day they come with a warning label like cigarettes do. Like, this is toxic for your mental health.
Oh, she knows, doesn't she? Oh, sorry. I think she was talking about tabloids there. Yes!
Speaking out against tabloid culture and sharing her reaction to Tuesday's important court ruling.
Yes.
You know, in terms of this,
Right.
the appeal, I won the case.
Meghan took part in the New York Times
Of course she didn't.
Deal Book Summit.
Yes.
A conversation focused on bridging the gap in the workplace for women.
Right.
So I've been gone from the US for a really long
It's easy. It's very easy to bridge the gap in any workplace with Megsy. Yes. It's just get horizontal. Madame la horizontal. It gets you everywhere. It does, VooTube. I mean, I've tried it, but I usually get arrested. Do you know what I mean, capiche?
long time. And to come back and
Yes.
now be a mother of 2 and to see...
Two? Two what? 2 chickens, dear? Or 2 dogs? Oh, no, scrub that, because, like, that was very unfortunate instant, wasn't it? Yeah, we won't talk about that. Carry on. Come on, love.
The U.S. is one of only 6 countries in the entire
Yes.
world that doesn't offer any form of national paid leave. Just didn't make sense.
It is. It's one of 6 countries in the whole world that doesn't offer any form of paid leave. Yes! Because I'm sure they do in China and Russia, don't they? To get me crazy. Oh, yes! And like, what about Abu Dhabi? Yeah, all the working women, they give them paid leave. They do, VooTube. Yes, they do. Don't be nasty. And Iran, oh, yeah! They knock themselves out. They can't wait. Yeah, go and have a baby and we give you paid leave. And we know all about it, because Meghan said so it must be true. Come on, Kermit. I mean, Meggie.
Discussion later turned to
Oh,
how
I love
the
that
Duchess of
look.
Sussex is portrayed.
I love that look. You know when you wear a strapless bra? Yes. And then you have a high neck. Yeah, it does wonders. It's wonderful.
Media, leading
It's
to this
wonderful.
candid comment about tabloid journalism.
I've read great things about you as a boss, and if you read the tabloids, you can read all.
What were you reading, dear? I've read great things about you as... Listen, I'm going to tell you something now. Whatever your name is. You read great things about her as a boss, yes. Well, they did do an investigatione, didn't they? About something to do with the way she treated her staff when she was their boss. Yes, over here in the royal family. And afterwards, the Queen put it very quietly in her drawer. In other words, her laters bucket. Do you get me? And I do rather think that if it had come out that she was an amazeballs boss, it would have been published, wouldn't it? It would. A bit like Andy. Do you know what I mean? If he had nothing to hide, they wouldn't be closing all his bleeding paperwork till he's 105, would they? Now, would they? Do you get me? You know? Are you listening? Do you hear me?
All sorts of crazy things about it being a boss.
Well, she's
Well, first I
crazy.
would urge you not to read tabloids.
Yeah?
Because
Don't read tabloids. Only read them when I say, because usually, like, I'll ring them and I'll get them to take photographs of me and I'll ring Backgrid and then they sell them to the tabloids. But hey, don't read them. Just look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at wonderful, lovely me.
I don't think that's healthy for anyone. Hopefully one
What
day
is it?
they come with
Oh,
a
yeah, sorry.
warning label like cigarettes do. Like, this is toxic for
This
your...
is toxic. It's toxic. At least she knows, doesn't she? Do you get me? I mean, the hyperbole and general BS is off the scales. Thank God I haven't got a Roma bleeding television. Do you get me? God, I wouldn't be able to breathe by now, would I?
mental health.
Yeah,
Let's not
mental.
forget the Sussexes said they wanted to leave the UK
Yes.
to avoid the intrusion of the British media.
Right.
Meghan heads up her and husband Prince Harry.
She just wants to ring Backgrid and all the other papers and things, magazines, and talk to the cunt magazine. She wants to do it all when she wants to do it. And she wants us to think what she wants us to think. and she wants us to say what she wants us to say. But apart from that, don't read tabloids, because, you know what I mean, Mexi said.
Charity,
It's the
the
Meg.
Archwell Foundation. According to the Duchess, she and her husband always come back to the golden rule.
That look really did suit her, didn't it? Yes, it did. Yes. She looked like she was part of the Chinese Communist Party, didn't she? You know, in their little government thing, what they've got. Yes. I love that look. Oh, I tell you what, it's probably 90 degrees of heat when she took that photo as well. Wasn't it? You know, she's got no sense. You know, no sense, no feeling, isn't it, Vutub?
We're just doing it the same way that we would want if we were employees of it, right? So treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yes.
That is always how I've moved. My husband.
Right. So I've got to stop you there, dear. You are espousing the virtues of treating people how you yourself would like to be treated. Okay. I'm sort of cringing this end because I'm not being funny. Well, where should we start? Should we start with your family or his? Or should we just do them both together? Yes? Because you've persecuted the royal family, and okay, she was royal, she was a queen, right? But ostensibly, they were still human beings, and they were very, very elderly, yeah? And you should have had a bit more respect for your husband if you say you love him as much as you do. You would have had more respect for his family than to abuse them as badly as what you did. The fact they're royal is neither here nor there. And then all the other stuff you did with your sister-in-law, this, that, the other, you didn't even make an effort to get to know them. But anyway, go on, do go on. Oh, teach me how to be as virtuous as you, love, please do. Oh, I don't even want to get on your dad and your disabled sister who's in a bleeding wheelchair, your dad that's had a stroke and a heart attack. Yes, and did everything for you. Yes, don't talk about them. Yeah, and definitely don't mention Bogart. No, treat people how you want to be treated. Yes, well, that's a pretty high benchmark, isn't it, really? Get me, capiche? Yes. I think we could all be axe welding murderers and still, like, you know, sort of not quite cut the mega mustard.
My husband has always said, with great privilege comes great responsibility.
It does. With great privilege comes so much responsibility. Yeah, that you write a book, well, 2 books. Well, one that you say you didn't write, but let's have it right, you did. And then ghostwrite where for your hubby. Do X amount of interviews, documentaries, loads more Spotify podcasts, and just generally run everyone down. But apart from that, do you know, just you rock. You really rock, girl.
Meghan said that extends to their work in politics.
It does.
I think this is one of those issues that is not red or blue. We can all agree that people need support.
Yes.
Meghan has personally reached out to senators and companies advocating for...
this was a couple of years back, wasn't it? Just after the lockdown when it really thought it was going to be president. I think it still does, but whatever. Go on.
Family leave for all Americans.
Family leave for all Americans.
This entire country, if we valued American families in that way, as we should, it sets us up for economic growth and success, but it also just really allows people to have that very sacred time as a family.
That's just a load of political BS she's saying there. It's just word salad, isn't it? Look at me, I'm wonderful. You know, they all say that, politicians. And I think it's going to make the family strong and this, that, and the other. As soon as they get in, they don't do anything. Yeah, and of course she knows because apparently she's had a couple of kids, but, you know, they're kind of invisible at this point, aren't they?
For anyone thinks the royal couple might become more political, Meghan set the record straight.
Yes, set the record straight.
This is a political issue, frankly. Look, there's certainly a precedent amongst my husband's family and the royal family of not having any involvement in politics, but I think this is, paid leave, from my standpoint, is just a humanitarian issue.
She wants paid leave. I think she's had enough bleeding paid leave, don't you? I don't quite what she's got paid leave from. Oh, I'm taking a sabbatical. From what, love? You haven't done anything, dear. Anyway, whatever. I can't even remember what she said. Can you illuminate me?
And also reacted to the latest development.
I can't. I know. I'm sorry. It's late for me, VooTube. Too much BS for dirty.
And for court battle with the Mail on Sunday, a press outlet that published a...
She does suit a safari dress, doesn't she? And she really does look nice in her granny's hat. It really suits her, it does.
Private letter she sent to her father, Thomas Markle, in 2018.
Yes.
Yeah, well, in terms of this, the appeal, I won the case, and this issue, frankly, has been going on when I had no children at all, so it's an arduous process.
Yes. Earlier this year, a High Court judge in London ruled that Associated Newspaper Limited, the British tabloid's parent company, invaded Meghan's privacy.
Don't even get me going. Don't even bleed go there. What a bleeding piss take. I won, even though we've all seen that you lied all the way through it. The only reason you won is because it was out of respect for your husband's family. You know anyone else would have had the book thrown at them. You fibbed all the way through, you made stuff up, you were rotten about your family. Should be ashamed of yourself, really, but you know, folk like you never have any shame, do they? You know, they really don't. You do know. I'm going to keep saying you know, even though I know you can't hear me. I think you should know. I tell you what, I'm telling you. There you go. Take a bit of Gertie's advice. Be a bit more humble, love. Yes, it will do you the power of good. Oh, dear God.
She'd been through a high court case against the Mail on Sunday.
This is
she
nonsense.
won that privacy court case, so a big victory.
She didn't. It's because they just published like a little bit more, few sentences of what they should have done to prove their point. It's like something on here, you can use a certain amount to review, but if you show the like whole thing or half the thing or 2/3 of the thing, then you know you're breaching people's copyright. But you can generally scan over something and talk over it and give your opinion about it. That's all she did, and they just, unfortunately, the Mail, well, they just published a bit too much, didn't they? And let's face it, they could have probably published a hell of a sight more, couldn't they? Yes. And why was that horrible Larson bloke dead set on getting in Mr. Markle's house when he had a stroke? Yes, that I'm hearing about. He was determined to get in there. I think she put him up to go and get that letter back. Because that letter, that's got the goods. Go on, love.
For Meghan.
But on Tuesday, the publisher launched an official challenge against that verdict at the UK's Court of Appeal.
I don't blame them.
As for what comes next in the court saga, Meghan said she will continue following.
I think she's just going to every court in every country across the globe, isn't she? If she's not in court, it's not a day, is it for you? Queen's Commonwealth Trust, you mare. I'm representing the Queen's Commonwealth Trust. Didn't they want to be something, the President of the Commonwealth or some nonsense? Her and Harry. Can you even imagine? I mean, there's not enough red carpets in the world for that one, is there? Hey?
Her moral compass.
A moral compass.
Again, it's just me standing up for what's right.
It's a moral compass that made her ditch her daddy. Yes, it was. And be really, really nasty to a disabled woman that just happens to be her sister.
I think is important across the board, be it in this case or in the other things we've been talking about today. At a certain point, no matter how difficult it is, if you know the difference between right and wrong, you must stand up for what's right. And that.
Okay, so I've taken your own words on board, and I think you're a right rotten little mare that ought to get in touch with your dad and get on your knees and say you're very, very sorry. And also go and see your sister, kiss her, push her in the park, and be a bleeding sister. And start being a bit nicer to people, a bit more humane. You rotten little toe rag.
That's what I'm doing.
Oh, God. I probably won't be allowed to put this up now, will I? But it's so hot here. I'm sorry, it's not even that good, is it? But I thought we'd sort of walk through it together. Yes, I thought we would. Keep the logarithms happy, do you get me? Anyway, if you could like, subscribe, and press the notification button, it would make your old Gert very happy. And now, I'm going to give myself a jet wash. I am. It's so, so hot.